Hey YouTube, I'm Jay,
And I'm Em.
and today we're going to be talking about our life story. This is our first video, which we're super stoked about, and it might be a little rough, but today we're going to be talking, like I said before, about our lives, and let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Emma's going to go first, and then I'm going to go after her, so let's do this.
Yeah, so kind of the reason why we wanted to start this project is we felt growing up, we were both adopted, and we didn't really have many resources. Understandably, it was 1999 and early 2000s. So, yeah, we just really want to be a resource for parents, but for also kids who have been adopted or are in foster care, because I think what we both kind of are both experiences are, it was a lot, and I think that, it can be really hard. So, yeah, we just want to provide information, but also just kind of share our stories, and I think it's become a big passion of ours, so.
Yeah, like you said before, this is a big step for us. We noticed that the community out there has so many questions and so many issues that they're going through, and that the public isn't what actual life is for a foster kid and for an adopted kid. And we want to give you our life stories and our experiences and help you guys grow and maybe encourage you guys to do adoption and foster care. So Emma, why don't you start with her life story, which is really interesting, and then I'll close out with mine.
Yes, I feel like they're both interesting, but I'll start for sure. So I was born 1999 and adopted right at birth. So it was really cool. Both of my parents were able to come down and be a part of the birth of me. And so that was really cool. And I'm trying to think what else. I always joke, I'm like, oh, I was in foster care. I was in foster care for like 3 days while everything was processed and transferred. So no, I mean, my parents were there for everything. They were there every day until like the last possible second, and then they'd have to go home. So, yeah, so everything was finalized pretty much probably a week after I was born. And so I've been with them ever since. And growing up in Wisconsin was really interesting and it was fun. All my friends, I feel like, had almost like a harder time with my figuring out or finding out that I was adopted, because I feel like I knew my whole life that I obviously am African American and both of my parents are white, so that to me was kind of like, oh yeah, okay, like I know I'm different, and I'm different. Whereas I feel like most of my friends were like, they had almost the dramatic adoption, finding out oh, Emma's adopted, what? I had no idea.
I feel like people, I think the reactions were a lot bigger from your friends and other family members that you're adopted than yourself.
Definitely, yeah. And so, and I really do appreciate my parents for that, of normalizing and not making it this oh, we're not gonna tell her. And my adoption is open, so I'm able to talk to my biological family members. So that is a good thing, but I think it also comes with kind of some challenges of knowing that, you're supposed to be with them if it was a perfect world, but yet you're not with them. And so I actually got in contact, the first time that I can remember was when I was 13, and I had reached out to my birth mom, and it was a really good conversation, but also, it's kind of hard. It's like I had said before, that you're supposed to be with her, or I knew I was supposed to be with her, but then also, but you're not, and it's definitely hard, and that's kind of a challenge for sure. And I do have birth siblings as well, and so I think honestly that comes with challenges too. I know growing up, some of my classmates or some of my friends, they always have questions, and it's like, oh well, why did she keep them and not you? And it's like, I don't know, and it's things like that can be really challenging, and I know that they came from a place of curiosity and not rudeness or anything like that, but I think it does really kind of trigger like that insecurity of, oh, you know, like maybe I wasn't loved, or, you know, things like that. And that couldn't be further from the truth. You know, my mom chose life, and she also, you know, was able to give me the best chance at life with my two adoptive parents. And for that, I mean, I owe her my life, you know, in that sense of, yeah. And so kind of fast forwarding, I'm in contact, I would say, a lot with my biological sister more than my mom. And that's been really nice, just with medical stuff that's come up and things like that. I'm kind of able to shoot her a text, like, bless her heart, and then I'm able to be like, hey, do we have this in our family, or like, what do I like need to know? And yeah, like, she's very open about that and honest. And so that's just been really helpful, because that, I think, kind of goes unnoticed in the adoption community, is like how hard it is to know like what you're predisposed to, or what you should be kind of more aware of with medical history stuff, for sure. Yeah. Do you want to add anything?
Nope.
Nothing? Okay. So yeah, I think emotionally too, like, my journey has been a lot of processing. It's taken a lot, and I think it's a lifelong thing. Like, I think, you know, I'm not in contact with my biological father, and I've never met him. And so that's kind of something that I'm noticing I'm processing through, or having to be a little more sensitive to. And so, yeah, like, I think that's kind of where we're at. Is, I mean, hopefully some of this made sense.
To sum it up, that was her
But that's
5 minute
story.
her 5 minute story, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So my name is Jaylon. Where to start? So I was born in Cincinnati to a divorced parents already. I stayed with my dad. It wasn't a very good environment. I think it was verbally and somewhat abusive. And then also some sexual abuse was also with that throughout the journey with my dad. And then we traveled with my mom to Moberly, Missouri, where we stayed, and I was with her for about 3 years. Throughout the 3 years, it was a very physical and verbal abuse, little food, very poor. Then I was put into foster care. I was in foster care for about 3.5 years, the most impactful 3.5 years of probably my whole entire life. It really set me up to be the man I am today. And that's why one thing that we want to talk about is how important it is that foster parents understand that even if the kids are there for a short amount of time, that you can really have a big impact on a negative and or positive to that. And my experience was positive. After being in foster care for about 3.5 years, I was adopted and moved up to Wisconsin, where I have been adopted for now probably about 11 to 12 years. I was adopted into a family of 12 at the time. I think we are now a family of 15. I have 2 biological brothers and a half-sister. My 2 biological brothers were adopted with me, and my half-sister decided not to be adopted, and she moved back down to Missouri. So that's kind of my life story in a nutshell. Obviously there's a lot of trauma. There were some hardships with being adopted and being an adopted family. And so like we said, we made this YouTube channel just to express and show you guys the benefits to adoption in foster care and the non-benefits to adoption in foster care. And then balance those things out to encourage you guys or to even discourage you guys from doing it or not doing it. We like to say a quote that adoption is great, but it came from pain and brokenness, right? That situation that led them to be adopted was probably not a good situation to be in, right? So.
Yeah, and like how I mentioned before, it's like, you know, if this was a perfect world, then, you know, we would be with our biological families. But as we all know, it's not a perfect world. And so, yeah, I think that's really what it is.
So that's the end of this video, and if you want to learn more, we have another video that's about to come out also with this one about Mother's and Father's Day and the benefits and non-benefits to Mother's and Father's Day.
Yeah, and just kind of navigating, because I think that that's been a really big pain point for both of us, was just, the navigating the emotions that come up around that when you are in an adoptive family. So,
So thank you for sticking around. Go to the next video to learn more about Mother's and Father's Day. See you guys later. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. If you guys have questions, please comment down below those questions, and maybe we can make a YouTube video on those questions. See you guys later.
Thank you.